Hey guys, it's that time of the week again where we look at Raw. This is Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews. So we started off the show with Samoa Joe kicking it off, and let's be honest, Samoa Joe is amazing. He is one of the highlights of Raw every time he's on TV, and he just pretty much cuts a promo calling out Roman Reigns. He's pretty much saying, look Roman, I'm calling you out, none of your Shield friends, just me and you right here, right now. Seth Rollins and Ambrose drag Roman out to see what, on a monitor to see Samoa Joe doing this. Roman goes out to confront Samoa Joe and gets taken out by Samoa Joe, Sheamus and Cesaro. It was a trap. Then the rest of the Shield come out, but it's already too late. This is already a master plan by the assassin Samoa Joe, and everyone is taken out. Roman is choked out. Ambrose is literally destroyed with Seth. It's a great way to start the show, and this was on top of being announced that all 6 of these men will have a singles match tonight for Raw. And to be honest, it was a very strong way to start the show. Samoa Joe's awesome, and this is a new way to freshen up the Cesaro, Sheamus and Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose feud. So I'm not going to complain. Good way to start the show. It's getting a positive from me. And our first match of the night was a women's tag team match from Bayley and Mickie James taking on 2/3 of Absolution, Paige and Mandy Rose. Now this itself wasn't a very good match, I'm not going to lie. The reason it wasn't as good, it was because it was quite obvious who was going to get the win. You had Absolution, who are very strong heels right now, and they don't want to really lose too much momentum, went in and they cheated. And yes, I know, wow, what's new that heels getting the win for cheating, but I'm not going to lie to you guys, because it was slightly obvious what was going to happen, it took away from the match itself. Mickie James and Bayley were very good in the ring, of course they are, and Paige was, but Mandy Rose looked a little bit green around her. Girls, I can understand why they put her with Paige, but it was okay. The end of a match, you had it look like the baby faces, Mickie James and Bayley were going to get the win. Unfortunately, Paige kicked Mickie James in the head, and Mandy Rose got the pin. And obviously, you had some distractions from the final member, Sonya. So it was kind of like, oh. But the match itself, like I said, it was very predictable. Unfortunately, it's the first disappointing match of the night. Then we got probably one of my best moments of all night. We got Woken Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt continuing their words of war. And I won't lie, this was brilliant. This is probably one of the best segments I have seen Bray Wyatt do in a long time. It was entertaining. Woken Matt Hardy, absolutely brilliant. You just get really absorbed by this character, and the way these two are like yin and yang works so well. It looks so well, and I'm actually excited for a Bray Wyatt match against Woke Matt Hardy. And I won't lie, the way these two just communicated with each other, like Matt Hardy explaining that him and Sister Abigail have known each other for many years. I don't know why he said it like that, but yeah, it was entertaining. I cannot wait, and I definitely can't wait for Sister Abigail to be deleted from existence. So yeah, that was for me a massive up, a massive positive. Loved every second of that segment. Now we're going to a part of the show which was neither a good part or a bad part. It was just, I didn't really care. Finn Balor taking on Curtis Axel, and the reason I I didn't care, or just, you know, it wasn't either good or bad. It's because of two things. One, it's giving Finn Balor more momentum. He hasn't had that in quite some time, and I really like that it works out that way. But unfortunately, he's taking on opponents like Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel, who, let's be honest, without the Miz, aren't that important. I hate to say it, sorry guys. But the match itself was fine. It was nothing special. It was a quick match. Finn got the win. And let's hope this might put Finn into a position for Royal Rumble and literally let him have a match against Brock Lesnar like everyone wants to see. But it won't. It won't happen. So I don't know why I'm asking. Then we got one of our 3 main events matches which were already announced at the start of the show, and that was Seth Rollins taking on Sheamus. And to be honest, again, we have seen this match probably 682 billion times, but it was a good match. Again, a good match. Seth Rollins, definitely one of the best matches I've seen in a long time. And it was well played out. You had Sheamus working on Seth's leg, which has been, you know, which everyone kind of works out is his weakness. And it just showed the strength for Seth Rollins. Just absolutely brilliant match from both of them. Again, I'm not disappointed. It's just, I've seen it so many times. But because it was, again, an entertaining match, it's definitely a positive for me. But I'm just kind of getting tired of seeing, you know, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose taking on Sheamus and Cesaro. I know it's still entertaining, but there's some parts where you're just like, ugh. But again, a good match, a good one to start those. Like I said, the 3, what I would say, 3. Well, we had 4 main events really, 4 main events of the night, and this was one of them. So it was a good one. Then we had our Cruiserweight match, and this was what they called the second chance qualification match. Obviously, as I broke yesterday of Swan being suspended and arrested for domestic abuse on his wife. His spot now against Goulash has been dropped as well. So we had 4 other Cruiserweights who failed to qualify for the, you know, to take Goulash on, get a second chance. And we had Mustafa Ali, Tony Nese, who else was it? Daivari and Curtis Alexander. Probably the most popular Cruiserweight out of all 4 for me. And again, the Cruiserweight stole the show. Again, it was one of those matches you watched and went, damn, this is what I want to see in my Cruiserweight division. This is the 3rd week in a row where we've seen the Cruiserweights allowed to shine. They were given plenty of time, and it showed. High flying moves. It was non-stop, like, oh my god, who's actually got it? Because, to be honest, I wasn't sure who was going to get that final spot. And Alexander getting the win was the right decision in my eyes. He's definitely pushed. He's probably one of the best Cruiserweights we have on that division. And I would like to see him hold the belt for a little while as well. I think a lot of people would. And to be honest, he's that good. He could easily get out of the 205 and start going on to more of the heavyweight belts like the Intercontinental in the future. I won't mind seeing that. But the match itself, absolutely, again, another show-stealing match. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Then we got to our second of our 4 main event matches, which was an Intercontinental match, which we had Roman Reigns taking on Cesaro. And this was another match which was probably one of the matches of the night. Definitely well worked. Both guys performed. It was absolutely brilliant. It was so good. Even Stone Cold Steve Austin himself said that these two stole the show for him. That just shows you how good of a match it was. For me, it's hard to say, but I do think this was the best match of the night, by far. Cesaro and Roman, this just shows how far Roman has developed. You know, as a wrestler, he's definitely got to that stage now where when he's on a match like that against an opponent, a very, very talented opponent like Cesaro, it's entertaining and it was great to watch. To be honest, I am not gonna lie, it was one of those matches where you're like, Roman could lose this and I would, you know, it was brilliant. It felt so close each and every time. Cesaro was working the arm, crossface, working the arm, crossface, working the arm. It just worked. It was a well-oiled match. Both guys performed brilliantly. It didn't feel sluggish. It felt fast-paced but entertaining all at the same time. Wow, that's all I can say. Roman got the win, kept the Intercontinental belt, but it just showed a brilliant match from both guys. Then we got to possibly the most oddest part of the night for me. I felt was quite odd. We had Asuka's match against Alicia Fox, a rematch from last week, but Alicia Fox didn't turn up because she was attacked by Absolution. Absolution comes out to confront Asuka, saying, look, you're in our way. You got either two choices: you get out of our ring, or we force you out of the ring. Obviously, Asuka, the big badass of the Raw Women's Division, wasn't going to take any of that. She stood her ground, but she got absolutely outnumbered by Absolution. She got beaten down. And next thing we know, the whole Raw Women's Division comes out, and I mean every single member of the Raw Women's Division comes out and takes out Absolution, and they go running. Now for me, this was a bit of an odd one to do. I thought personally that they should have allowed Absolution to take out Asuka, make him feel like a big threat, and then next week the whole women's division come out when Absolution are doing a promo and attack them. But no, they went for this way. I think it slows down the momentum of this new faction. Don't forget, this is a stable which is meant to be a threat to the women's division, and it just feels like they slowed down the brakes a little bit. Not too much, but you could definitely see it damaging this threat which they have right now. And now I'm going to say something I know a lot of you guys are not going to like. I did not enjoy the Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe match. It felt really slow paced. It felt like both guys weren't giving their best, especially Ambrose. This felt like the worst match I've seen Ambrose perform in a long time. Ambrose is probably one of the best hard workers in the company, but it just didn't feel right. The momentum was very, very slow. Everything looked like they were slowing down just so people could, keep up, but it was too slow. So it's like when you and your mates have that slow-mo fight, and it felt like that. That's how it felt for me. It just felt like the two friends having a slow-mo fight, and you're kind of like, oh yeah, you're kind of taking us out of that moment, guys. And yeah, Jason Jordan getting involved again. I don't care about Jason Jordan's part. Everyone cheered when Jason Jordan got beaten up by both Ambrose and Samoa Joe. Can't blame him. But the match itself was very poor. I don't blame both guys. I think the momentum of the match just didn't work for them. If they had another match, I'm sure it would be a lot better than what we got last night. Then we got to our final match of the night, which was Braun Strowman taking on Kane. The winner would take on Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. And it was entertaining. It wasn't good. It was damn entertaining. And that's what you want when you see two super heavyweights just beating the crap out of each other. Braun Strowman, absolutely, and Kane using all the power moves straight from the start. Both guys get counted out, so the match itself ends in a tie. So neither of them, I think, goes off to take on Brock Lesnar at Royal Rumble. So still fingers crossed for Finn to do it. Hope so. But the match continued after the count out. Both guys went through barriers. They attacked each other with the steel stairs. Braun brought a table into the ring. Kane used a chair on him. I mean, Braun power slams Kane through the table, and that is just brilliant. I mean, you get Braun lifting himself like, oh, Braun, after the match. You also have Braun and Kane doing the both sit-up thing after the both get taken down. It was entertaining. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't a good match. It was just damn entertaining, and that's what you want, really. You know, your main event, you want it sometimes to be a little bit goofy, and yet absolutely entertaining like that was. And so I can't complain too much. And there you go, guys. That was our review for Raw this week. Definitely the weakest Raw we've had in some time, but still very entertaining to say the least. But I want to hear what you guys thought of this week's Raw. Who do you think, or what did you think was the best match of this week? And tell me, what are you most looking forward to in the upcoming weeks for Raw? Leave it in the comments below, and if you want to follow me on the Twitter, you can. I'm at Boise88, and I will see you guys next time on Smack Talk Wrestling Reviews.